Yeah, I do have it. This one.
It's creepy.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, it's recording.
Good. Okay, let's call the October Graphics Commission meeting for the City of Columbus into session. Mr. Tobias, could you,
You want to make any general pronouncement first?
I don't think so.
There's no preliminary matter, so go ahead. If you plan on providing any testimony today up in front of the commission, if you could raise your right hand. Do you swear?
stand?
You don't have to stand. If you want to, do you swear or affirm that all the information that you will provide today will be true to the best of your belief and your knowledge, and if so, say I do.
I do. Great.
I'm good, Dave.
No preliminary business, so we can call the first case, application number GC 23-026-2255 Parsons Avenue. Please come forward.
And I would just ask that you ask them to articulate on the record that they've been.
Got it. And Mr. Kirk.
Yes, GC 23-026. 2255 Parsons Avenue is located on the west side of Parsons Avenue, opposite Groveport Road. It's part of the Columbus South Side Area Commission, and the existing zoning is M Manufacturing District. The 69-acre site is currently being developed with a warehouse and distribution center. Surrounding uses include warehouses and manufacturing to the north, south, and west, and an auto salvage lot, eating and drinking establishment, and single-unit dwellings to the east. The applicant proposes to install a monument sign with more tenant panels than would be allowed by code. As a result, the applicant is requesting variances to increase the number of allowable tenant panels for a monument sign from 4 to 6, to increase the maximum portion of a ground sign utilized to display tenant panels from 50% to 60%, and to decrease the minimum portion of the topographic area for a sign dedicated to the entire use from 50% to 40%. Planning supports this variance request as it is consistent with the Columbus citywide planning policies, C2P2 guidelines for graphics. Division of Traffic Management staff review comment that they had for this application has been resolved, and the Columbus Southside Area Commission recommends approval of this request. Likewise, the City Department's recommendation is that of approval. Staff can recommend approval as the sign is consistent with the Columbus citywide planning policies guidelines, and the proposed signage is appropriate for the manufacturing use of the site and the surrounding area. Chair.
Can you please state your name for the record?
Bruce Sommerfeld.
Mr. Summerfield, you've been sworn in?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please present your case.
Thank you. Thank you, staff. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Very large site at the apex of Lockbourne Road and Parsons. So while the parcel has a large lot front or street frontage all the way down Parsons, most of the directional traffic is going to be coming off of 104 and down Lockbourne. So the main arterial viewpoint would be to locate the sign at the first entrance. That's ingress and egress, as we've stated there on the site plan. The intent and the expectations is to have up to 6 users in these 3 facilities, approximately 2 users per facility, and each facility is anywhere from 600 to 800,000 square feet of lease space. The way the parcel lays out with the facilities on there, the narrow end of those buildings is what fronts the street frontage. So at least half of the tenants, 3 included, would not be entitled to street frontage signage, which would hamper their visibility and functionality of directional wayfinding. So we thought it would be a lesser variance, and as precedents are set in multiple locations for this type of sign, we were going to request 1 sign with a minimal split of the 3 variances that staff did cite. 1 being the percentage. Instead of 50-50, we're going to split it 60-40, 60% for the tenants and 40% for the site identifier. And that will be more than functional for the whole parcel. It will allow the 6 tenants to get their identification out on the street. And we figured it would be a lesser variance request than asking for 3 additional wall signs, but a larger size. And then we can enhance our statement of hardship that this is a super large lot of 70+ acres that will have multiple facilities that will contain minimum of 6 ag users. We proposed one entry monument sign to identify 6 tenants as opposed to multiple monuments. Due to the large lot provision, this premise differentiates itself from others in the vicinity. Without adequate wayfinding signage, tenants could not expect a reasonable rate of investment return. This would also be beneficial to the governmental services. This variance will not be injurious to others in the vicinity. Do you have any questions?
The second and third, C and D, 3377.11 C and D, I mean, it's essentially the same thing, but you're requesting to, because obviously if you go to 60, you have to go to 40 the other way, but that's technically 2 variances.
Right, yeah, because one's dictating the amount dedicated to the whole use, so that, yeah, and it's essentially the same change, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my point.
Yep.
Is that a part of the zoning change that 50% need to be allocated to
That would make sense.
We hope so.
It's not,
Consolidate.
does anyone else have any questions? Is there anyone else that would like to present testimony for this case? Okay, anyone like to make a motion regarding finding of fact regarding hardship?
I would like to make a motion that we proceed with this case and we accept the finding of facts as presented by staff and by the applicant. I'll second motion.
Great, let's vote on approving the finding of fact.
Mr. Cavaliers?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Hoy?
Yes.
Ms. Augustine?
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Chair Cooperman?
Yes, and now can I have a motion to approve the application based on finding of the fact?
I'll make a motion to approve GC 23026.
I'll second.
Okay. Vote.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Hoy?
Yes.
Ms. Augustine?
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Cavaliers?
Yes.
Chair Cooperman?
Yes, and your application is approved.
Thank you.
Okay. Second case, GC 23-030-240 Parsons Avenue. Other side of that.
And I am refusing myself.
Okay. Jamie,
Yes.
is your case.
Okay, 240 Parsons Avenue is located at the northeast corner of Parsons Avenue and East Main Street. The site is zoned AR, apartment residential, low density, and is located within the Near East Area Commission. The 11.4 acre site is developed with a plus or minus 290,000 square foot office building, as well as a 192,000 plus or minus square foot parking garage. The buildings are utilized by the City of Columbus Department of Public Health. I want to point out again, that is an office building parking garage in the apartment residential district. The applicant proposes one wall sign and multiple ground, monument, and directional signs to aid wayfinding throughout the site. Although in institutional use, the site is zoned in a residential district, which limits the size, number, and location of signage. So in the staff report, if you want to flip down to the third bullet point, it goes through the peculiars of the variances being requested. You as a commission may be asking, why didn't the applicant just apply for the graphic plan? After some due diligence and research, we found out that in a residential district, there is no provision, I'm sorry, the residential graphics portion of the code, there is no provision for a graphics plan. So we asked the applicant to identify each sign and vary them as per the code section. So for example, 3376.09 states that permanent signs for other uses and institutional use in a residential district with over 300 continuous lineal feet of lot frontage shall display no more than the following permanent on-premise signs directed to that street. That would be one sign in compliance with the provisions of 337609A. So basically, you're allowed one sign for frontage, and you're only allowed one wall sign. Being a large institutional use such as this, staff can recommend approval as the proposal provides much needed identification and directional signage for both motorists and pedestrians visiting the Department of Health's campus, and the proposal is compliant with 2005 Northeast Area Plan Design Guidelines. Those guidelines again recommend the signage be compatible with the building and neighboring buildings Danny, if you go to the vestibule, the only sign we have an issue with, the vestibule, that one there. The request here is to increase the amount of window graphics to 100%, which puts the amount of wall graphics at, what was the number? 266 square feet. Now, this is a new kind of thing that we're starting to see lately. It's increasing window graphics to 100%. This started back in March of the year, Guitar Center.
We had one a
That
couple
one-
months ago.
Was that?
We had one a couple months ago.
So that, yeah, that one was tabled. But we do have a few more coming down the pipe that are specifically window graphics, adhesive placed on windows. So I'm sorry, Tim and Planet, but we're going to use you guys as the guinea pig to see how the commission feels about these and use that as guidance of what we're going to do in the future. So as of right now, we're going to say disapproval to this, but if you as a commission feel like this is warranted, or if the applicant come up with a good hardship as to why it's warranted, we can use that as a starting block and go from there.
And what's our code say about percentage window graphics?
You're allowed up to 25% of the window. So we would consider this one window.
Which one, Jamie, in this list, the requested variant, which one, it's one of these that you've been?
So because it's 100% of the windows, it takes up the amount of graphic area on the east elevation. So it's the last.
Oh, so the very last one.
Yeah, 33,76098.
Got it.
And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it back to you guys.
Okay, can you please state your name for the record?
Yes, Tim Barricle.
And you've been sworn in?
I have.
Okay, please present your case.
Yes, well, Jamie did a great job of really presenting what the issue is, and it's trying to increase signage within a residential district, a zone residential property. I'm not sure how many of you have visited this public health campus, but one of the problems is when you ping the property address, it drops you off on Parsons in front of the building. Unfortunately, all the activity is on the east side or rear of the building off the parking deck. So it's getting the public from Parsons around the property. The second thing is you'll see the two bus icons along Main Street. You've got an eastbound and westbound bus drop-offs, and a lot of their clientele are pedestrians, so they're being dropped off there. And there's no signage along that frontage telling them they have to move towards Allen Ave and then back towards that entrance. So there's a lot of confusion on site. Also, the existing signs on site are smaller than that cart. They're green with white poppy post and panels, and I think every one of them has been hit by either a plow or another car, and they're just in disrepair, and they're very hard to read. So that's one of the reasons we're asking for some relief on the number of signs and also increasing the size, which allows us to increase the size of copy. The two dark circles at the top, those are two monument signs. Right now there is, that would be that sign. The only illuminated part of that sign is the Columbus Public Health logo. Everything else on that sign, as well as all the other signs, is reflective copy. Both of those signs encroach upon the setback. The one along Parsons, that one right there, we're asking for relief because just to the east of that is an existing tree on the property. And so if we were to go by the setback, we would be having them remove the tree and such. So and plus it's close to that driveway. On the one towards Allen, that one there, it abuts Bryden Alley, and there is no way you can do the 50-foot setback along there with the available real estate. You would end up putting the monument sign in the middle of their driveway, but in a parking garage. Most of the signs, I think there's the relief for the columns, the height on the signs, it would be 337609B2. The sign all the way to the right is a facsimile. Right now on that site, there are 3 masonry columns, 2 along Parsons and Main and 1 further down on Main, pretty adjacent to those bus drop-offs. And all we would be asking to do is mount sign panels to those existing columns, and they're higher than what is allowed by code. So that's the relief we're asking for there.
So let's talk about those window signs. What,
So the thought there was, when you pull up onto the deck,
this is on the east side?
this is on the east side. It's a pretty imposing structure. Again, I believe it's the old school for the deaf, so it's a pretty massive structure. And it's hard to determine where to enter that building. And so we've taken to put the main entrance sign above and the graphic film. We don't know if their budget will allow both signs. Right now, we're going through that process we're kind of asking for everything, but we'll probably, cutting it back. But the intent there was to, in all the different languages of the people that would be coming there, to give them some idea to where to head once they've parked.
So the entry's on either side of this festival.
The doors, yes, the doors are on either side. This is just the front elevation.
And really the only opaque piece of this is the words. The backdrop is clear.
Right now, we were assuming it would be like a frosted look. We could certainly entertain it being clear.
So it's opaque, you can't. see.
Yeah.
Like I have a different opinion if it was like,
That,
I feel like I have a different opinion if it was clear.
So I just was there a couple, oh, it's okay. Let's say something.
yeah, sure.
I was just there a couple of weeks ago, actually, for the violence, prevention conversation, and I guess I'm not getting, how nobody, I'm not getting what you're saying, where people don't understand how to enter, because it's only one, that's the only thing in the back of it, and that's the only way that you can enter, so I'm just trying to understand.
We've heard from the folks at Public Health that they have a lot of people coming over to the Parsons entrance, along Parsons, and not where they should be directed to. And so again, this just verifies, as you drive down Allen, if you're new to the site, if you drive down Allen Ave, you're faced with that 2-story parking deck. So you don't know until you pull up that you've entered the campus. Once you get up there, again, you've got this large elevation, and it was just an attempt to draw people's
You're
attention.
saying most people are being dropped off and then they're all searching around and you want something prominent.
Right.
For those folks who've never been there before.
Right, but again, once they've come up on the deck, it just helps direct them to the actual entrance.
So that part makes sense to me, because I know that, there is some sign, but you might not recognize it until you get closer to turn, and then the
Right.
pillars, because maybe it used to be a down entrance, I'm not really sure. But my concern is, what my question is, geared towards is the window part, where you need all the wording on the window.
Again, it was an attempt to confirm that this is where you need to go in. And again, it's in all the different dialects or languages that someone would recognize. Oh, it says welcome, or it says enter, that.
You're not trying to screen anything inside, right?
No, not at all.
So I'm gonna say, I do agree with, the other signs, it can be kind of confusing when you come in with the other pillars. I'm gonna say that I would disagree with I would really vote against the, window, signage. Or this big one window.
Go ahead, Mike.
Personally.
Yeah, I do have a few questions. So did I hear this right? The whole property is zoned residential?
Yes.
And of course, it's an old building, been there forever.
It's like legal non-conforming use essentially.
Yes, yeah. So, just that in itself is a hardship, I think. I don't know how all the math would work if it were, manufacturing or something like that. The residential zoning is a hardship, to begin with. And then secondly, is like sounds to me like the way you're describing it, the orientation of the building and how you drive in and all that makes it difficult. And then it comes down to, and I think it's what Mr. Priest was talking about, is the percentage of, can we see that picture again on the, but it's like the percentage of graphics on the glass.
Mhm.
And I look at that in comparison to the building and then the photograph, do the next one down. I see the glass even on each side, so I don't know how the math works out, but it doesn't seem like it's, that, now maybe it's a lot of square
If
footage.
you're considering all the glasses.
Yeah, considering everything, and then I think, did you say the vinyl that's going on it is opaque, or is it the perforated vinyl? Because if it's the perforated, and not that
No,
changes the square footage or anything, but it helps the people inside looking out, so you aren't making a cave inside,
Yeah,
so to
no.
speak, I guess.
yeah, absolutely, it would be perforated.
Yes, I mean, you could maybe say, well, really, it's only half the amount, but I don't buy that.
Well, also, I think if it's transparent, it actually helps what you're trying to accomplish because you will actually see people walking in and out.
I mean, that's my worry with allowing something 100% is that we create opaque,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
storefront where if this is transparent with the words, I mean, I like the story behind it. It makes some sense. But being able to get
Mhm.
seeing what's going on inside, I think is important. And
Do you like the perforated, I mean, does the perforated help the argument, the perforated vinyl? It's like.
It would
this
be like,
here.
yeah, do you like
I mean,
looking out that window right now? You'd be able to see out.
We also want to be consistent with what our rulings are on everything else.
Well, I
We
guess-
have something tabled now that's, you know what I mean?
that's my point, is like, there's an argument to be had that if that was transparent and it was just the words that were opaque, that it wouldn't be near 100%, right?
I agree there, because if it's opaque, it's like, then it's a wall.
I don't know that office screening, I wouldn't agree with, but if it was literally a window with a word on it, that's a different conversation.
I was gonna say, when you consider the four elements under the hardship, the special conditions related to the hardship, you can draw a distinction between the fact that this is a city agency that's serving the public versus a private business, that for business. So that could be part of your analysis and the needs of that particular type of agency in terms of the customer that it serves and the nature of the service.
Yeah, all the different demographics that probably come here and speak different languages and.
So
And to Robert's point, I just also wanted to add, I was gonna hopefully save this for the end, but you beat me to it. We can also distinguish, and I hope that the commission does this, that this is, maybe for guidance or direction, but it's not for advertising. You're not advertising the city of Columbus with this.
Right.
Which is what I feel like we're gonna have down the road if we do get more applications for 100% window covering is for advertising of products. This doesn't appear to be that to me, so hopefully in your deliberation, you mentioned that.
I mean, I probably it's a great, this is like art or mural, right?
Well, I don't think we consider that.
I wouldn't say that.
You can say it's wayfinding.
Mhm.
I mean.
Correct.
As opposed to.
So if that's where we're gonna go with, the public building, then my only concern would be, or I would want to stay with, it being, where was the word, transparent? For safety reasons, so that the security can see what's going on outside as well with the people that pull up. And I would be okay with it.
You'd agree to the condition that it's not, no advertising.
Absolutely.
Because it is just, like you said, welcome, and, yeah.
I think it's a good story, and I think like, makes sense. I'm
It's not visible to the public, for the main travel way or,
Well, Allen is just
Allen
to the east, and that's a public right of way, which there is a big parking deck in between the buildings, so you might be on something, Mr. Capillaris, yeah.
So maybe that's it.
Is there anyone else that wants to speak to this case? Can I have a motion regarding the finding of fact?
I'll make a motion to approve, case number GC 23-030, based on the finding of fact as presented by the staff and the applicant deliberations.
And to better specify, this is not advertising, this is more wayfinding, and it's a public,
It's a public.
entity.
Directional information.
Have a second?
I would just amend, my advice would be to amend the motion for finding of
Yeah,
fact.
try again.
Say that you're finding that it's a hardship and that it's a public entity and that it's wayfinding.
Not redo.
I will make a motion to approve case number or GC 23-030
Not approving, it's just adopting the finding of fact.
to adopt the finding of fact. And with regard to the variance concerning the window increasing graphic, it's going to be based on it's a public entity. It's involves wayfinding, not advertising.
Right, and then additional finding for the other three areas that, again, the testimony that was presented,
Yeah, and also to approve,
to accept and
To-
adopt testimony from the other.
we should write something down.
Would anyone like to make a motion to accept the finding of the fact as presented by city staff and the applicant regarding the testimony and that it established a hardship for safety reasons and for other
So moved.
distinctions as presented? That's better.
So moved.
Anyone want to make that motion like I just said?
Lucas got it.
Okay, do I have a second?
I can say.
Okay. You vote on as presented.
Heck, you're at it.
Yeah, vote on that.
Mr. Boyd,
Yes.
Ms. Augustine,
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh,
Yes.
Mr. Cavaliers,
Yes,
Chair Guterman.
Yes, okay, now can I have a motion to approve the application based on the finding of fact with the additional condition added that no advertising beyond the window with respect to the last variance requested 337609B, 15% or more than 15% of the window
So moved.
And transparency.
Go ahead.
and transparency.
And transparency, so moved.
Okay. Do I have a motion? Anyone?
Second.
We're making the look for a second.
Second.
Okay. Get that, Tony?
No, I didn't, I don't know who did, well, you made the motion and, okay, Aaron second.
Yeah.
Got it, sorry.
Got it. Okay, you can vote now.
Ms. Augustine,
Yes.
Mr. Rumbaugh,
Yes.
Mr. Cavaliers,
yes.
Mr. Hoy,
Yes.
Chair Guterman.
Yes, and that doozy is approved.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thanks.
I will send out an email with some suggested language.
Okay. The third case,
I don't get it.
GC 23-0317480 Sawmill Road. Mr. Freeze, you're up again.
Yes. 7480 Sawmill Road is located on the east side of Sawmill Road, approximately 210 feet north of Hard Road. Site is zoned CPD Commercial Plan Development and is located within the far northwest Civic Association. The 1.86 acre site is developed within an eating and drinking establishment. The applicant proposes to raise the existing building and construct a Sheetz fuel station and convenience store. The applicant proposes both permanent and temporary signage. The applicant requests one temporary sign to be installed on a light pole. It will display a countdown to when the store will open and will also promote hiring events information. The permanent signage will be installed on both the fuel canopy and store. The main identification sign will be suspended from, that's no longer true anymore. It will no longer be suspended from the fuel canopy. The fuel station support columns will each display a projecting sign displaying the type of fuel to be dispensed. The applicant proposes a 52.46 square foot wall sign that says MTO, made to order, on the interior elevation. Because the sign is not directed towards the right of way, it will be mounted to the elevation that has a public entrance. The allowable grass area will be 41.57 square feet based on a mass factor of 1. So the variance is required to increase it by about 11 square feet. The planning division has no comment on the temporary item, as the Northwest Area Plan does not address temporary banners and signage. Planning requests that the height of the monument sign be reduced so that it does not exceed 6 feet. The Northwest Area Plan design guidelines state that site monument style signs that do not exceed 6 feet are recommended for this area. Planning supports the remaining variances as staff have reviewed the proposal and has determined that signage is consistent with the Northwest Area Plan design guidelines. The Division of Traffic Management has no comments, and the Bar Northwest Civic Association recommends approval. Staff can recommend approval as a temporary sign will be time limited. Staff can recommend approval of the permanent wall signs as the variances are negligible. Staff recommends disapproval to the ground sign, but could recommend approval if the overall height was reduced to 6 feet. And you can see the sign there. With that, the only condition we're recommending is, if approved, the automatic changeable copy will be limited to fuel pricing only. Mr. Chairman.
Okay, can you please state your name for the record?
Hi, my name's Rebecca Green, and yes, I have been sworn in.
Great, go ahead and present your
Great.
case.
This is a Sheets location that's proposed for near Hard and Sawmill. It's the existing, or the prior use was a Maximum's restaurant.
So what, excuse me?
It was a Max and Irma's restaurant. And to the north of us is Spencer's, and to the south is CVS. It has two entrances as a right turn only in the south entrance there, right turn in, right turn out. And then your left-hand turn would be in the Spencer's area. But it is a very busy roadway, as I'm sure all of us know. The various signs that we're looking for, again, is a temporary sign that is just a light pole. It's placed on a light pole. We need a variance for height for that. Then that's the only temporary sign variance we need. Other than that, we need some additional area variances specifically for A2, which is on the north side next to Spencer's. We're allowed 16 square feet. We're asking for our regular Sheets logo there, which is 25. And again, that is our main left-hand turn in entrance. So we're looking to distinguish ourselves from the restaurant to the north. Have signage there. Then we also need some wall sign variances for the canopy as it faces south. The canopy is very close to the property line. So we have a very limited amount of very limited mass factor there. There'll be 3 signs that are included, 2 price signs that are 4.58 square feet each. And they give you the price of the diesel, and 1 Sheets wall sign, which is 15.37 square feet. So it's a negligible amount there. I think we need 10 square feet for that. The fuel type signs on the canopy, the Sheets in the past have used a sort of a projecting type sign, and now they're using tiny little, and they're 2.3 square foot, much smaller signs to indicate fuel type and the name of the pump. And it's my understanding that zoning clearance no longer considers these newer signs to be projecting signs. So that does limit the number of variances that we'll do in the future for those kinds of fuel indicator signs. The big issue, of course, is always the monument sign, and there it is. It's a 7, what is it? I forgot. I apologize. I think it's 7 feet or more than 7 feet tall. Let me take a look. I apologize. It's 7 feet, 10.5 inches tall. It sits on a limestone veneer base that is appropriate for the ICO in which it's in. We do need a variance for changeable copy for our price sign, for our fuel prices, and of course, happy to do a condition just for the fuel price. We need some variances for the identifier percentage as well. And again, there are some stylistic sort of variances we need for the, because it is an RCO. The big issue, I think, is the height. Our concern is that we need our prices to be seen above the landscaping on a busy road. Not to mention, this particular sign sits next to a pre-existing sign, a sign that is on site. It is, I think, 5 feet long. It says CVS. It is there for an easement. It's going to remain there, and it sits very close to this left-in entrance, the only left-in entrance we have close to the store. So, it's ideal that she has their sign there in that space too, because it is the only left-in turn-in entrance. But I do the street view. Maybe I could pull it up. But you can see that the existing sign would be, the existing CVS sign it does block the proposed monument sign. So that is another hardship factor to consider when you're thinking about the height of this particular sign. And again, it's only 1 foot 10.5 inches taller than is the recommendation. And so with this particular sign, we've done what we can to make it compliant with the regional overlay. But because of this other existing sign, which we are saddled with, we're hoping, and the fact that this is our left turning entrance, we're hoping that that demonstrates the hardship that we need for height. Okay. Anyone else have questions?
Questions?
Yeah.
And I think that's what you were trying to, like the existing CVS sign, what's that height? You know,
My understanding is that it's 5 feet in height. It's 5 feet tall. So this is a little taller than that one, not greatly taller.
I mean, you're asking 7'10".
We're asking
and
7.
Staff's asking to bring it to 6.
That's correct. When we spoke to the far northwest, I should not remember that one every time, far northwest coalition, Community Coalition with Columbus.
Far Northwest Civic Association.
So are they okay? Are you?
They were okay with it. I mean,
You're
they
okay
had-
with 6 foot, or
I apologize.
are you okay with 6 foot, or you want it to be the 7'10"?
They're looking to have it at 7'10". The maximum sign that was there before was substantially taller. This one is between the 6 foot and the pre-existing maximums.
And you've a right in, right out on the south entrance, so.
Right. So we want the sign to be where more people are going to be coming as they go.
For southbound traffic.
Right, correct. It's a small site. I think it's a 1.6 acre site, so we're crowding a lot in there. This particular location will not have a drive-through, which most of ours do, because it is a small site.
What was the idea behind the MTO? I know they make food there. Is that just a branding? or something?
It's their restaurant brand. It tells initially, Sheets did not offer restaurant type food inside, but when they did start doing that, that's when they started using the term MTO, made to order. Originally, Sheets was a grocery store.
So staff, I mean, if it's 7'10", I mean, you're recommending 6.
Well, that's what the Northwest plan recommends, so we're going by what the plan recommendation is, so. Our
Yeah,
recommendation
if it was
is
6, they
6.
wouldn't need a variance.
Well, they don't need a variance for the 7'10". But because this is in plan, that's what our recommendation is. They're not asking for a variance to increase height to 7 feet.
Correct.
We're asking that you condition it at 6 feet. Because that was the master plan.
Interesting.
Yeah, the only variance for the ground sign is to
They're more than one. Do you
Well-
want to go through them?
no, I got it.
Okay.
Just allow,
That's what I was looking at.
Setback from 15 to 13.
yeah, actually, if you could go through it, I'm starting to get blurry here.
That's fine, I'm happy to. So for the ground sign, my variances are, again, the 50% of the graphic area that identifies the user. Our price signs are a little too big. They take up a little too much area, so I need a little variance for that. So I need the identifying area of the apartments and sheets to be 44%. Code requires 50%. The base, I need so my base, the monument base is 48. My base is 38 inches and needs to be between 18 and 36, so I need a variance of 2 inches there. I have a setback because I'm trying to push this up a little ahead of the existing sign. So I have a setback of 13 feet, required is 15, so I need a variance of 2. I need changeable copy variance as well because it's within an RCO. And let's see what else, and that's it.
And you're okay with the condition of fuel prices only recommended?
Yeah, we're not doing, and Sheets only changes their prices once a day. No more than once a day. Hopefully they don't change it.
Okay.
And the Northwest Civic Association has approved everything you said.
They did, they recommended approval.
Can I have a motion based upon facts presented? Anyone?
I'll make a motion to accept, the finding of facts as presented by staff. Any applicant, repurchase the hardship stated in the variance.
Second?
Second.
We can vote on adopting the finding of fact.
Mr. Robo?
Yes.
Mr. Cavaliers?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Hoy?
Yes.
Ms. Augustine?
Yes.
Chair Cooperman?
Yes, and can I have a motion to approve the application based on finding of fact? Bueller, anyone?
Okay, I'd like to make a motion for application number GC 23.031, that based on the
Approve it, just to approve the application.
to approve this application.
Second. Anyone? Second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Okay, let's go.
Mr. Cavaliers?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Hoy?
Yes.
Ms. Augustine?
Yes.
Mr. Robo?
Yes.
Chair Cooperman?
Yes, the application is approved. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Last one, GC 23-033, 915 Fifth Avenue. Oh, and 1355 Norton Avenue, that's confusing.
Yeah, it's two parcels on site. GC 23-33, 915 West Fifth Avenue, 1355 Norton Avenue is located on the southwest corner of West Fifth Avenue and Delaware Schmidt Avenue. It is zoned CPD commercial and part of the Fifth by Northwest Area Commission. The site consists of two parcels, 915 West Fifth Avenue and 1355 Norton Avenue. 915 West Avenue is being developed with a mixed-use residential/retail building, and 1355 Norton Avenue is being developed with a mixed-use parking/retail facility. Surrounding uses include mixed-use retail/residential to the west, retail and eating and drinking establishments to the east and north, and warehousing facilities to the south. The applicant proposes to establish a graphics plan, which will include 5 wall signs, 2 canopy signs, 2 monument signs, 1 blade signs, 2 retail identifying signs to be determined. Variances would be necessary for increasing the height of a monument sign, increasing graphic area, reduced side setbacks, and to permit wall signs to be installed on a canopy. Planning is generally supportive, but requests that the monument signs be reduced in height. C2P2 signage design guidelines state that monument signs should be not taller than 6 feet. The monument signs are proposed to be 8 feet tall. Planning will be in full support of the request that the monument signs are revised to be 6 feet in height, consistent with C2P2 design guidelines. Your report says, comments from traffic that has been resolved, so the Division of Traffic Management has no comments. The Fifth by Northwest Area Commission recommends approval of the request, and staff recommend approval of the requested graphics plan because the proposed monument and wall signs are appropriately sized and are necessary for the wayfinding. Staff does recommend that the ground sign be reduced to 6 feet in height. Chair.
The graphics plan code modification is no longer, is that what you were referring to? At the bottom?
What?
You said there was some comment from traffic that's no longer.
Yeah. There was a question about the monument sign being in the right of way, which was cleared up. So where it's on your report, it still says the Division of Traffic Management, at the right time of the report, the applicant submitted new materials, which addressed the comment from the Division of Traffic Management. That has been resolved.
I got you. Can you please state your name for the record?
My name is Jeff Meacham.
And have you been sworn in?
I have, thank you.
Wonderful. Please present your case.
So we're a 5-story mixed use, very unique site. We actually have frontages on Fifth Avenue, Della Schmidt, South Avenue, South Alley, and Norton. So it's pretty unique. The request is really for, you can see in this graphic that E, where we have the monument sign that is promoting the parking. So we're a pretty unique development where we're bringing some public parking to the area. Pretty it's definitely needed in this part of the city where we are. It's urban. You can see, if you can go back one, you can see the graphic on the garage. We were asked, and we have, we're going to be installing garage art on the wall. So we want to make sure people know what the structure is. So we've got, really, it's the parking P monuments, both on Norton and on Fifth. We're trying to make sure people know that we have public parking back there. We've met with local property owners who are just thrilled that we have parking coming in a very an area that really needs the parking. So we're not, in addition to having enough parking for our own residents and retail tenants, there will be public parking available. So really, the hardship is a very unique, tight site that is a very odd that it's got two different parcels, and we're trying to make sure people know where we are and what we are.
Also, the name of the street, Delishment, thanks, that's a hardship in and of itself. Does anyone have any questions?
Do you know how the View next door handled this? They have the same issue?
I don't think we did anything for the view.
Just in the ground sign.
Well, since they have that P which marks parking on a different parcel, that's one of the reasons they need a special permit. And the graphics plan is pretty standard other than that.
Yeah.
Nobody else wants to speak, I don't have to ask that question, I can assume.
Well, I mean, are those all the photos we have for this, or are there more, or is that it? Because you talked about wall art.
You can go up.
There was wall art on the garage.
Okay, that's, okay,
Yeah.
that's us.
So that's 5 different panels that are going to be hung from and suspended from the garage on that side, and with Boston ivy going up in between there. So we're trying to make this look like a beautiful garage.
I mean, that's gonna be final though, right?
Pardon?
Final?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The intent of the height of that monument sign is really to get the public parking P as high as you can get it.
If it were 6 feet and there was somebody standing in front of it, we kind of felt like you wouldn't really see it. It's a good graphic there with the image with the people standing next to it.
And it's for both public and private, yeah. Would anyone like to make a motion to adopt finding of the fact as presented?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to adopt finding of fact, the summary offered by staff as well as statement by the applicant to the extent that they're consistent with the summary.
I'd like to second that.
You don't need it for graphic.
What's that?
So you don't need one for graphic.
But it's a special.
Oh, okay. So can I have a motion to approve the application as presented instead? Or in addition, how about that?
I'll make a motion to approve GC 23-033.
I have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, let's vote.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Hoyt?
Yes.
Ms. Augustine?
Yeah.
Mr. Romball?
Yes.
Mr. Cavaliers?
Yes.
Chair Cooper?
Yes, your application is approved.
It's really great. Appreciate it.
I just saw that near the giant eagle, like in that little side street, right? So